Let's look at the macro, external, large or further environment in details. First, we shall start with the political. Political, we have government policies. Government policies, they affect the way the business is operated. For example, if the government sets a minimum wage, whereby they say that no worker should be paid below 500k, it will affect the business operation because there can be a business that cannot pay their workers 500k and above, so they will end up not having workers. Yeah. Then political stability. If there is political stability in the country whereby there are no strikes and everything is calm, businesses will operate. But where there are strikes and civil wars and all that, businesses will not operate well. Yeah. Then foreign trade policies. The policies relating to imports and exports. If the government supports exporting, there will be increase in business. But if the government it does not support export or it overtax them, there will be a decrease in business operation. And then if they restrict imports, it means that local businesses will work. Yes, so foreign trade policies also affect business operation. Then the tax policy, if they have strict tax policies, like they have very many taxes that they impose on business people, it will discourage people from carrying out business. Then the labor laws. The labor laws, an example, as we said, is the minimum wage. If they set a minimum wage for every worker, it will affect business operation because some organizations may not be able to reach that level. Yeah, then trade restrictions. Trade restrictions is mainly between countries. If there is a trade restriction between Uganda and Kenya, it will discourage business operation or it will slow business operation. Yeah, whereby they cannot trade easily. They have very many terms and conditions. Then the second one, we have the economic factors. And the first one we have is the economic cycle. Economic cycle, there is the time of recovery, time of depression, time of the peak. They all affect business operation. If you're in a depression, of course, sales will be low, revenue will be low, and everything else. Yeah, so they affect business operation. Then we have exchange rates. If exchange rates are not stable, they will affect business because they will create uncertainty. Another one is interest rates. If interest rates are high on the borrowed money or borrowed capital, it will discourage business people from borrowing capital, and that will reduce on business operations in the country or in the economy. Then the demand and supply. If there is demand for the products and services provided by an organization, there will be increase in business operations, there will be increase in production, profit, sales, and everything. But if there is no demand for the products, there will be no supply, and it will affect business operation because they cannot produce something that has no market. Yeah. Then another economic factor is the level of competition. If competition is high, there is a high chance that some organizations will fall out because they will not be able to compete. Yeah. Then inflation rates. If inflation rates are high, some businesses will end up falling out because things will be so expensive, and when things are very expensive, it will reduce on the demand for the goods and services that are provided, so they will end up not operating. Then disposable income is by the customers. If customers have much money to spend, yeah, it will create demand for the products. Yeah, and businesses will end up operating. But if customers have no money, if they're broke, they're poor, there will be no demand for the products. And there will be no supply, meaning there will be no business operation. or the operation of the businesses will slow down. Then unemployment rates. If the unemployment rates are high, it will mean that people don't have money. And if people don't have money, there is no demand. If there is no demand, there will be no supply and there will be no business operation. But if people are employed, they'll have money, it creates market. Yeah. So those are the economic factors. Then another factor we have is social culture. Social culture, it looks at the culture of the environment that the business operates in. Yeah, the cultural aspects and the social factors. So we have culture beliefs. Culture beliefs. The business has to adopt the culture beliefs of the environment that they operate in. For example, we said you cannot sell mini skirts in Saudi Arabia because it's a Muslim community. No one will put them on, first of all. Yeah, and then like being what? A prostitute in Uganda, it is considered illegal, like it is not allowed. But being a prostitute in Norway, it is legal. Like they're all okay with it. So the culture beliefs of the environment that you operate in affect business operation. They affect the way you operate your business, either in a positive way or a negative way. Then another factor is the income distribution. If income is distributed equally in the environment where you operate in, there are higher chances that you have high demand for your products or services. But if there is income inequality, whereby a few are rich and the rest are poor, you will have limited demand for your products and services. Then another one is the changes in lifestyle. Like as time goes by, people change what they want. The tastes and preferences of people keep on changing. So as the lifestyles of people change, you're also supposed to adapt to the changes in the lifestyle so that you can provide the products and services in line with that. Then the fashion trends, you're supposed to deal in things that are trending because they have higher demand compared to any other thing. If something is trending, everyone would want to have that thing. Then the standards of living. If the standards of living are high, the higher chances that you will have more demand for your products and services. But if the standards of living are low, the demand will be low still. Then the education level. If you are dealing with educated people, you are likely to make more profits and then have more demand compared when you're dealing with the uneducated. Because the uneducated seem to have a solution for every problem. If they get sick, instead of going to the hospital, they'll go to the garden and find some local herbs. Yeah, instead of going to the market to buy skuma wiki, they can just decide to plant it and wait for it to grow and then eat it. So if you're dealing with the educated, you're likely to have more demand for the products. Then the language. If you're operating within a particular environment, you must learn their language because they are the people that you are going to deal with. You cannot go to market your products to them in a foreign language. Then the population growth rate. If the population growth rate is high, the business will have more market for the products and services. But then if it is low or if it does not grow, the demand will be limited. Then another one is age distribution. Age distribution, if you're dealing with the young people like babies, your demand will be low because they cannot buy things on their own. It's their parents that are supposed to buy for them. But if you're dealing with the youth, you're likely to have more demand because youth contribute more to the population compared to any other category. Then we have the technological. Under the technological, we have factors like the cost of the technology. If the new technology is expensive, the advanced technology, it will affect the business because you will not be able to adapt to it since you cannot afford it. But if it's not expensive, all will be easy. Then access to internet. If you have easy access to internet, if you have network in your area, it will improve on the business operation compared to when you don't have network in your particular area. Another one is technology incentives. If they give you incentives when you're buying new machines and all that, for example, if they give you a discount or if they say buy one and get one for free, it will be easy for the business to adopt to the changing technology. But if there are no incentives, you have to suffer on your own, it will be hard. Then the level of innovation. If the level of innovation is high, yeah, it will increase on business operations. But then if it is low, you will not be able to survive in the changing and competitive environment. Then automation. If you automate the business, it is more expensive compared to when you're using human beings. Yeah. Then research and development activity. If you're good at research and everything, like you're always researching about new things that are coming up, you'll be able to adapt to the changing environment every now and then. But if you don't do research, you lag behind, and that is how you will drop out of business. Yeah. Then technology awareness. If you're aware of what is new, what is trending, and all that, you'll be able to survive in the competitive environment. Then ecological, we look at things like climate. Climate refers to the weather conditions that take a long period of time. So if the climate is bad, for example, if the floods take a long period of time, they will affect the business operation. Yeah. Then another one is weather. Weather, it's something that takes a short period, like one day, a few hours. Yeah. So if the weather is good for the day, you'll be able to operate. But if it's bad, it will affect the business operation. Then environmental policies. If there are very many environmental policies and restrictions on the environment, for example, by NEMA, it will affect business operations. It will limit the way you operate because you have to put the environmental policies into consideration when operating. Yeah, then climate change, it is the same thing. Climate change, when the climate keeps on changing, like you're ever uncertain, you don't know what will happen, yeah, it will affect the business. Yeah, then pressure from NGOs, it can also affect business operations. Then lastly, we have the legal factors. Yeah, legal factors, we have things like the discrimination laws. For example, in Uganda, if an investor comes from another country, they are given more incentives compared to a local investor. Yeah, and that affects business operation. Another legal factor is the consumer protection laws. Those laws that protect consumers, for example, they protect them from false advertising. You are not supposed to advertise in a false way. You are not supposed to advertise, for example, if you're advertising a pen, you say, this pen, if you use it to write your exams, you will never fail. Yeah, so the protection laws, they affect business operation because sometimes if you don't lie to people, they will not support your things. You have to lie to them and convince them so that you can be able to get customers. So the consumer protection laws, they also affect business operations. Then employment laws that protect employees. Yeah, they also affect business operation. Then we have the antitrust laws. The antitrust laws also protect consumers from questionable business practices. Then there is copyright and patent laws. If the copyright laws, they can protect the business brands and everything. But if there are no copyright and patent laws, someone can easily copy your things, and that is how you drop out of business. Then the healthy and safety laws, whereby the employers are supposed to protect the healthy and safety of their workers. Yeah, so those have been the macro factors, external or further factors. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends. Let's catch up.